Hey, what's up, guys? It's Coach Tim Crater. I just wanted to talk to you guys about a little something that I'm doing that I've been preparing for a little while. Um, I've been traveling a lot this year. Our academy has really exploded, and I've been working a lot. And, one of the things that I love to do the most is to teach students, especially like one on one. But over the course of the last year, I've really had to kind of step away from that because time constraints with the business and with traveling and Brazil and Vegas and all the places that we've gone and been. I really haven't had the availability to do that. And so we've had to increase my private lesson price to a rate that was a little bit more manageable in terms of students getting private lessons. And so things have kind of slowed down a little bit, and we know by our numbers that things slow down pretty well in November and December. And so for me, it kind of gives me an opportunity to do what I want to do. And really, what I want to do is spend time with students and spend time with you guys. So I'm offering a new private lesson package for anybody that gets this video, gets this DVD. You can sign up for it. But really, what I want to teach is while I was in Brazil, we recorded like between 4 and 6 hours of jiu-jitsu technique. And right when I came back, I taught some of the stuff from there, but things at work just got so hectic that I really haven't had the time to go through all of it with all of our students and dedicate myself to teaching some of the amazing things we learned there. So I've decided to present it in kind of a more special way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a 10 private lesson package, and I'm just doing it for 10 adult students. So whoever the first 10 are that want to do it, let's do it. That's really all I have time for, because if you look at it, if it's 10 students, 10 lessons, that's 100 hours, and I don't really have too much more than that 100 hours, especially with my current private lesson students. So, and we're offering them at a pretty discounted rate. It's holidays, and I really wanted to offer something to make you guys that follow my emails and that are students here feel special. This is for gi, no gi, or MMA, whatever it is you have to work on. But there's a lot of concepts that we worked on in Brazil that are universal. We trained at Brazilian Top Team, one of the best mixed martial arts schools in the world. We trained with one of my old mentors, Murilo Bustamante, former UFC middleweight champion. And for those of you that want to do MMA, we'll be focusing more on that stuff. Those that want to do gi, we'll be focusing more on the gi stuff. But I'm calling this series The Secrets of Brazil. And it's a lot of very tricky stuff that we learned out there, and new concepts and new strategies from a lot of elite level competitors that really have helped my game out a lot. And I've had some time, the last 3 or 4 months to kind of dissect it all and break it down and watch the videos over and over again. And I want to just go into what exactly the 10 people who get this are going to get from my Secrets to Brazil private lesson session. So what we're going to do is, of course, we're going to get the 10 lessons with me. Those will be about an hour long. I usually go over my private lessons by 20 or 30 minutes. I'm not promising that, but I don't really pay attention to the time. I just make sure you get what we needed to get done that day done. And that's the most important thing. And make sure you and I get to roll for at least 20 or 30 minutes so I can kind of find the holes in your game, improve them, repair them, and make sure you're moving on with your education with a better foot forward, with some new tools in your toolbox, and an understanding of where you struggle and where you're strong. Okay, and that's kind of what a private lesson session does. You guys know that come to my classes. I got 20 people in a class. I can only roll with so many. Private lessons give me the opportunity to one-on-one roll with you 4 or 5 matches and give you the ability to find the holes in your game when it comes to rolling with a black belt, which is definitely different than if you're rolling with a blue belt or a purple belt. And don't be nervous. I do private lessons with really good athletes. I do private lessons with white belts who are not in shape. I do private lessons with women and children. It doesn't matter what level you're at. When the private lesson's over, you're going to know you have worked out, you're going to know you learned some stuff, and you're going to be better because of it. It shows that students learn 7 to 17 times faster in private lessons than in group instruction. So for those of you with some extra Christmas money, I'd love to be a part of your education. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you a detailed outline and notes breaking down all the elements of what we went through, all the elements of the techniques that, in my opinion, make those techniques work. All the things about each specific movement pattern, strategy, and concept that I think are integral in you developing a skill set to make those things work. Okay? We're also going to go through with you in that 10 private lessons a game plan and strategy analysis. What I mean by that is a lot of times I have students ask me questions like, I don't know what to do when I'm starting on the knees, or I don't know what to do when I get in half guard, or I don't know what to do when I'm in closed guard, or I don't know what to do when I'm in my open guard, I don't know what to do. We're going to go through a full game plan and figure out what are the 2 or 3 things that are best for your game, that are best for you to focus on at this step, this level and stage of your jiu-jitsu or MMA career. The last thing you want to do is when you're laying your back in your guard, have 75 sweeps going through your head, right? That's more harm than good. If you can boil down the best 2 or 3 for you, that's going to give you the specific things to drill and train with your training partners, and the things that you're getting the most success with already. We're going to detail all the different positions out that you find yourself in the most, and how we can specifically train you to be your best in the situations you're in the most. Okay, and that comes with a detailed game plan and a specific strategy analysis for where you're at, where you're finding yourself, and how you're using techniques and skills to get over those obstacles. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm currently finishing up a DVD that will include everything that we learned in Brazil. Okay, that's right. It's like 4 to 6 hours of techniques that we videotaped while I was in Brazil. I brought my video camera to Brazil and we videotaped Rodrigo teaching multiple seminars, a bunch of other jiu-jitsu black belts, myself teaching some no-gi seminars. It's just a ton of information that's sitting on my computer that I really hadn't had the time to go through and process accordingly. But in the process of the last 3 or 4 months, I've slowly broken it down. And so I'm also going to include a DVD. It may actually be 2 DVDs because it may be too much, but you'll also have that included in there with the package. Okay? And like I said again, the reason we're doing this is because November and December kind of slow down for us and give me the opportunity to focus on some of the things I want to do. One of the things I want to do is I'm creating a new MMA product. And another thing I want to do is I want to spend more time with the students that care about and want to train with me on things that can help them with their game. Okay? And this is my way to give back and kind of reduce the price of our private lessons or my private lessons to kind of help people since I have the time to do it. Okay? So for the package, like I said, I usually charge $150 per private lesson, which would come out to about $1,500 for the 10 private lessons. Notes and outlines, game plan, strategies, DVDs, all these equate to some money. But what I'm going to do is, it's holiday time and it's how I want to spend my time. So I'm going to do this for just a $700 investment. So for $700, we're going to do 10 lessons, detailed notes and outlines, game plan and strategy analysis, and you'll get the DVDs from Brazil. All the lessons will be specific to the stuff that we've learned in Brazil, either for an MMA capacity, a no-gi capacity, or for a gi jiu-jitsu capacity. And hopefully in the time that I get to spend with the 10 of you, you will see dramatic improvements. Not only in your jiu-jitsu, but in your cardio, in your strength and conditioning, in the way you're rolling, and your success on the mat. I hope many of you are excited about this. I know I am. I'm excited to spend 100 hours with some of you out there. So if you're interested, click the register here, and I'll see you on the mat soon.